What up, everybody? It's Aaron here and Robert with Get Your Geek On. We are here for our review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 2.
Yep, the Star-Spangled Man is our title of this episode. This is spoilers.
Spoilers.
So be prepared. All right, Aaron.
Yes.
Episode 2, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Initial thoughts.
It was really good. I actually liked it a little bit more than the first one, I think. I mean, one thing I know that we have talked about on the first episode, I think, and what everyone's already talking about is this is going to go heavily into race.
Yep.
And we see it plain as day, basically at the end of the episode almost.
I mean, throughout the episode.
Yeah, throughout the episode. I think it was blatantly, obvious hit baseball bat to the face, where he's, getting pulled over because he's a black guy.
Oh, yeah.
Harassing the white guy.
Yep.
And it was two squad cars, too.
Right.
I was like, not just one, it was 4 officers, and they're like, we need to see identification, or we're taking you in, and it's like, Bucky's like, dude, it's him. Like,
right,
come
you
on,
know who this is.
You know who it is. Mm-hmm. And then it takes one cop to tell the other one it's, the Falcon. And they're like, oh, we're sorry, blah, blah, we didn't know, blah, blah, blah. It's like, that shouldn't matter. They were just having a discussion, technically. They were just kind of bickering and arguing in public.
Right.
I think that was a blatant one.
Oh, and there's a ton of them. As we'll
it really is. I think that was just one of my favorite parts of the whole thing.
Sure.
But I really liked it. I like that we have other super soldiers. I like everything about this episode, honestly. I think it's moving us in the right direction because we're only going to get 6 episodes.
Yeah.
And you called it. We got them back together in episode 2.
Yeah.
Literally the second episode in the first 5 minutes they're back together. So I think want to start.
I think you're not going to like what I have to say.
Okay.
And the reason is I think this is the best thing the MCU's put out since Avengers Endgame, which means I think it's better than Spider-Man Far From Home.
It's okay.
I think this episode killed it.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good from start to finish. I love the way we open with getting some more backstory about John Walker, giving us a 3-dimensional character.
Yes.
He's not just, mustache twirling. Like, he's, you picked up the shield and we hate you. Like, they give you a reason to, kind of connect with him. He's the small town, hero.
Small town boy.
Yeah, he's the quarterback. He's 3-time decorated, Medal of Honor winner. He's tests off the chart in intelligence and his physique and all these things, and they are telling you that he doesn't have the super soldier serum, and I don't think he does based on what we've seen. And so I think that's true, but it could be a swerve. He could already have it. I don't think so.
Or you could have something like it, kind of like the Abomination had something similar.
Sure. But I think that, setting him up as, last week, with the end of the episode, it was like immediately we had this feeling like, I don't like this. He shouldn't have the shield. He's not Captain America. You're not my Captain America. And there was a week of memes about that, all that stuff.
Yes.
And so to really open this episode and say, let's give some background on this guy. Let's make you understand it. He even talks about, I want to live up to expectations. I don't want to let people down. I don't like doing the propaganda stuff, which is certainly what Steve Rogers was like in that first movie.
He had to do that.
But this is the difference, and this is where Steve Rogers comes from. Is this guy is every other one of those soldiers in boot camp when Steve Rogers was the skinny little guy. And you had Tommy Lee Jones, saying well, what about this guy? This guy's perfect. And you had, the scientist going, nah, I want Steve Rogers.
Because it's all about heart at that point.
Right. And so even though they're presenting this guy as he's all the right things that you would want in a Captain America, he's always been the successful, popular high school quarterback with all the physical gifts and all that. Steve Rogers, the only thing he had was heart. And then he was given the rest of it.
Now, I did like the one line, because I wanted to smack him when he said it, where Falcon asks him, would you jump on a grenade? The one thing Steve did, hug that
he's
grenade.
like, I've done it 3 times, a reinforced helmet.
Yeah, and you're like, no.
So that doesn't count.
No.
Because you can't get hurt.
Yeah, Steve knew he was going to die jumping on the grenade, or thought he was going to die jumping on the grenade. And that's where I'm like, I kind of like that we had that throw. Here's 2 different people. How did they handle the situation? Yeah. Steve was ready to give his life for everyone there. Yeah. And this guy's like, oh, my helmet. It's going to make sure we're all safe. And the note, like you said, I'm not going to get hurt.
Yeah, and I do, I think that we then get, Bucky and Falcon, and of course I love the image like we talked about last week, Falcon getting a chance to watch it, and we kind of had different interpretations of how he was viewing it.
Yeah.
With Bucky, I feel like there's no ambiguity.
No,
he's pissed. And he's pissed specifically at Sam for giving up the shield. That wasn't what Steve wanted, all this stuff. And Sam, it comes out later in the episode, basically says, listen, I did what I thought was right, which is Captain America. Like, that's Steve Rogers. I did what I thought was right.
Now, I want to ask you, and again, this I'm going to say right now, this is going to be a political show almost. I mean, this is going to get political right now. Do you think Sam is trying to tell Bucky it's because I am an African American without telling him? Because it seems like he wants to say something, but he doesn't think Bucky's going to understand. I don't know if that's it.
I think there's certainly a hint towards that. Like, that could be true, and you would understand that from Sam's point of view because Bucky grew up in an era that not that every era isn't racist to some degree, but he grew up in an era in the 1920s and 30s and 40s, and then after that he's been brainwashed for 70 years. So he doesn't really have life experience the same way that Sam does in the same era, and so I think that certainly could be true, and I think it really comes out when we meet Isaiah Bradley, played by Carl Lumbly, who is a fantastic actor, and we find out somebody, the United States government gave the super soldier serum to a black man in the 1950s, and then threw him away.
Yep, never talk about him again.
And we don't find out why. We don't get any of that backstory. I think we'll get some of that.
I think
as the show moves on. Yeah. But we don't know. We just know that as the Winter Soldier, he encountered this character, so he had knowledge of it, and then he says he didn't tell anybody. He didn't want to put that burden on Steve, all that stuff. So, that's why nobody else knows about this character. Now, this is, in the last 20 years, this is something that is now in the comics.
Right.
They have, kind of said, and that character also ended up, like in prison for a long time, and, just hard done by. Like, it's very pointed commentary. I thought that was a great scene.
Now, I want to know, because we have kids in there, in the house that he's at.
Correct. His son or his nephew, we don't know.
We don't know yet, because I don't remember they saying his name. I don't think they did catch it.
But I think that character in the comics becomes part of the Young Avengers.
He becomes Iron Patriot, because he is the grandson of him. Yeah. So I don't know if that's his grandson. The kid looks young enough to be a grandson, because he's got to be... Like you said, he was in the 50s, so he's got to be 70 years old or so.
Yeah, and he probably looks a little younger because he did have some super soldier spirit.
That's true. So you age a little bit slower.
So,
So you say he's 70, 80 years. That could be the grandson.
Yeah,
who could be Iron Patriot. So I'm kind of excited that if that's Iron Patriot, that kid was already ready to stand up for his dad.
And they're already setting up, potential new Falcon. Torres becomes Falcon in the comics after Falcon takes up the Captain America moniker.
Yep.
So, we get a little bit more Torres in this episode as they go on their mission to, kind of come at the Flag Smashers. Now, this stuff, again, like, I love everything in this episode. I love this stuff, too, because we get more with the Flag Smashers. We understand, again, what their perspective is, why they're doing the things that they're doing. What they're doing is they're stealing medicine and taking it to people that need it.
Exactly.
And, like, this is modern-day Robin Hood stuff, and they even called it out.
They even called her Robin Hood, yeah.
And so... we're fans of Robin Hood. Everybody likes Robin Hood, but...
And I like that we're not playing these guys as, like you've said before, the typical bad guy. It's like, here's a little backstory. Maybe we're not so bad. But we probably are. But we're maybe not so bad.
Well, you have to think, like, there are probably some people that are part of it that are bad, villainous people.
Right.
But it seems like at least our main character, Morgenthau, something, Callie Morgenthau or something like that, it seems like she is very idealistic.
Yeah.
That's why she's in this. So that doesn't mean she's doing good things. I mean, it comes back to somebody like Killmonger, who his vision of, rise up against the oppressors is not a bad vision.
Exactly.
But certainly the way he goes about it is
about execution.
Not what you would like. Yeah. Now, these people clearly, and he gets a call out, they are connected to the power broker, which we assume that's where they got their super soldier serum. That's why, that's why they're like this. And then somehow they betrayed the power broker because he's after them. And, you know, they get that scene where they escape. But I want to talk the earlier fight, the Falcon, Winter Soldier, and then we get Captain America, the new Captain America,
and Battlestar
against and Battlestar against the Flag Smashers, and they basically get wiped. Like,
they do.
All four of them. You know, Bucky, I think, holds up the best because he also has some super soldier serum.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Falcon, you know, does a decent job. You know, Battlestar, like
he's gone
immediately.
seconds.
But I did like, you know, new Captain America throwing his shield to save him. Like that was a cool moment, and I was like, that's a good use of the shield. Like,
exactly.
I still don't like you.
Yeah.
Like, but that's a good use of the shield.
Here's my thing, and people keep trying to say he already has the serum in him, and I don't believe it.
I don't think
and
so.
they're saying it because of that scene.
Yeah.
But in the comic books, we've seen Hawkeye throw the shield with no serum with dead-on accuracy.
Yeah.
So you just have to be good.
Right.
And we had a training montage with him where he's throwing it at these dummies, comes back, throws it. So I think he is just good with that shield. I want to point that out.
I agree, and I think that there is going to come a point in this series where he's going to be, whether it's out of desperation to not fail, you know, he doesn't want to let people down, or whether it's just a power grab, he's hungry for more power, whatever it is, there's going to come a reason where he's going to get connected to the power broker and get this super soldier serum that the Flag Smashers have. Now that might be like a button at the end. It might not be a, you know, episode 4 thing, and then we have to fight him in episodes 5 and 6. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be kind of at the end of the series when Falcon and Winter Soldier have succeeded and he's failed. He's going to be angry, and he's going to want that super soldier serum.
Yeah. And I'm interested in how they're going to do it, because I think you're right. I really don't think they're going to do anything with him being a villainous kind. U.S. Agent really isn't a villain in the comics. He does kind of go rogue.
He's more like an anti-hero and more anti than hero.
Yeah, he ends up going more Punisher route. I might kill quite a few people now.
Yeah, and he's also, like, very far right ideologically.
Yes.
Which we get hints towards in this, you know, like, even though I've got a black best friend. It's like, yeah, but the way you talk to Falcon, where, you know, like, it's like it'd be really, really great if I had Cap's wingman at my side, and
that set him off
and
too.
Sam's just like, it's always that last line, like, or at the end when he's like playing around with the cop car. Again, we had that scene that you brought up where Sam is, you know, like they're coming to arrest Sam because he's harassing a white guy, and you know, and then you've got, you know, new Captain America, like, clearly just privilege out the wazoo.
Yeah, anyone else does that.
He's playing with the siren and all that. Hey guys, you know. And, of course, you know, the episode ends with him telling them to stay out of his way.
Exactly.
You know, which, I'm glad, because they kind of were leading me to believe that we might have them working together for an episode or two. I'm glad we're not going to have that. I like that, again, he's not a straight-up villain, but he's definitely, you know, Bucky and Sam do not like this guy.
No, and I did like that scene because they basically tell him, you have rules that you have to follow. We're freelancers. We got a lot more wiggle room, so stay out of our way kind of thing. But, you know, you got Captain America basically telling him, stay out of my way. And that's not something I think Steve would ever have done either. I think he would still try to always work with you, even though he knows... Like, I mean, I look at somebody like the Punisher. Steve has worked with him.
Sure.
He hates the Punisher because he does not believe in what the Punisher does. But at the same time, he knows the Punisher is also good at his job. You know, you need a bad guy taken out? Hold on, about a mile away? Yeah, let me call Frank. And Frank, make sure you use the rubber bullet. Frank's like, okay, yes, Cap.
Wink, wink.
Exactly.
I'll use a rubber bullet. Rubber coated in titanium.
Right. The first shot was rubber and I missed. My second shot happened to be, you know...
I just only loaded one rubber bullet.
I thought I didn't need more. I mean, but I love, like, that's how their dynamic are. He knows how he is and he tries to keep him in line. Because Cap, I think, at the end of the day, hopes everybody has a good heart and is going to do the right thing, and he hopes Frank will do the right thing. And I think that's why I like about this Captain America, it's like, stay out of my way, no matter what now, because now they're at odds ends.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, this is an interesting way to end that episode, is that, you know, I know we don't recap the whole thing, we're kind of just going over what we liked.
Yeah.
They separate and we get Sam and Bucky ready to leave.
Ready to you know, like, and I like that they have an unspoken understanding. Yeah, I like that they have an unspoken understanding of, like, who we need to go, and he says, you know, like, this is the lead from Isaiah Bradley, who mentions that your people weren't done with me either. And we know that means Hydra.
Yeah.
And so, who's the guy that knows all Hydra's secrets?
Zemo.
Baron Zemo. We get the return of Daniel Bruhl at the very end of the episode.
Him.
And I think he's a fantastic actor. I think he was very well utilized in Civil War. Are there some plot conveniences that get us to the end of that movie? Yes. But I think he's a great villain in the MCU. He's not a super-powered villain. He doesn't have superpowers. He just, wanted to tear apart the Avengers. And now we've got a couple of, Avengers, although Bucky, I guess, technically was never an Avenger. But we've got a couple of our heroes that now need something from him. He's in a prison in Germany, which is, where... obviously, it seems like Black Panther dropped him off there on the way back to Wakanda.
Right. I got this white guy that I got to jump off with his arm. Yeah. I got this other guy that we used to throw in jail.
Well, I don't have a white guy with only one arm. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, Bucky. He took Bucky with him.
But nobody's supposed to know that he's in Wakanda.
That's right. Don't worry about the cloak that just walks.
It's fine. So yeah, I definitely I like that he's coming back. We knew that already, but we get the stinger of him at the end of this episode, which means we're gonna get him in the next episode. Now, is it gonna be a prison break? How are they gonna be able to talk to him? Because again, Captain America is the one with all of the I can get us in and do all that stuff. Like, yes, Falcon has some Air Force ties. But I don't see how that's going to help him get in to talk to Zemo. If they put in some kind of official request, Captain America is going to know they're there.
Yeah.
So, are we going to get a prison break?
Maybe.
That could be cool to see Falcon and Winter Soldier break, Baron Zemo out and then him just be like, what the heck? Now, again, at some point, we expect him to become the antagonist of the series, the villain of the series.
We did see at Comic-Con 2 years ago, he interrupted the convention when they were talking, and he was wearing the old mask from the comics.
Yeah, and we have seen him in some images from the series with the mask on. So we do know that he's going to wear that at some point. Is that going to be because he gets disfigured in some way, or is it just going to be like, I'm going to put this purple mask on because it's comics accurate?
Exactly. It's like, why do you wear that?
Because the writers told me to.
That's cool, because I got a friend. I'm going to connect it to Dr. Doom. Yeah. Dr. Doom is in there, because he's going to be like, Doom, hey,
no! There's no Dr. Doom in this series. Stop it. Stop.
No,
Stop.
Dr. Doom.
No.
So,
I love Dr. Doom.
I know
he's not showing up in this series.
No. Can they just fly over Latveria? Can you just be like, oh yeah, we're over Latveria. Okay. Just no reason to say that at all. We're just over Latveria. Just flying over.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
I would laugh
if they were just like, it's just like, well, we're 2 hours out from Stuttgart. We're over Latverian airspace right now.
Say something so soft.
What?
Please, I hope that's in this somewhere.
They did kind of like, even in Avengers Endgame, where they were like talking about the the under ocean earthquake that was off the coast of Wakanda, and it's like everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's Namor.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, they didn't really say that, but I guess.
But we all just assumed.
Could be. Wakanda got first mentioned, I think, in I think it was in Age of Ultron that it got specifically mentioned.
It was in Captain America. They mentioned where they got vibranium from.
No, they don't say it in Captain America.
I thought they did.
No, they mention it for the first time in Age of Ultron, but I think in Iron Man 2, it's on that map at the end where they're like literally setting up every sequel ever.
Yeah.
Like there's a highlighted area in the middle of Africa that's clearly Wakanda.
Oh,
so like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. already has like that on their radar kind of thing.
See, so they could just show, or it could just be a map, like they're showing the map, like here's where we're flying. It just says Latveria. I will be so happy if this happens.
It's obviously right next to Sokovia.
Right next door, yeah.
Two made-up nations of the MCU. Yeah.
It would make perfect sense. Hey, we got to land in Latveria and drive over. We're not allowed to go to Sokovia airspace. Bam! Look, I just got it.
There it is. Now I've got a connection on the ground in Latveria, and then who's your friend? Who's Dr. Doom's friend?
Boris.
There you go.
That was my laugh. I laughed when I saw the guy open the gate for those people. I was like, "There's Boris!"
No.
Even though it's not him. No. So I do like that. So kind of going back to the villains we do have.
Yeah.
They have people who are willing to hide them, obviously. So they have people that they're staying at, like, I guess you could say,
Well, again, they're viewed as Robin Hoods. Yeah. Like, they're viewed as people that are helping the less fortunate by taking from people that have too much.
Exactly.
That's literally what... And I mean, again, not to try and get too political, but literally right now, in the real world, developed countries like the United States where we live have purchased a surplus of vaccines, more than they need. Mm-hmm. And there are countries that don't have any.
Right.
These are the types of things that the flag smashers would they would be robbing vaccines from the United States to go give it to a third world country. Like, that is what they would be doing. And it's hard to say that's a bad thing, don't do that, when at the end of the day we go, yeah, they're helping people. Now, are they doing other things that are more nefarious also? We don't know. Like, at this point, the only thing we've seen them do is steal some money. Like, we saw that. Mm-hmm. And then we've seen them, steal these medical supplies with the intention of bringing them to people, like some camp for displaced people that came back during the blip. Like, that's literally what they're doing. And so, again, we don't know what happened in the first, like, who they were stealing money from or why. Yeah. We don't know. Obviously, like, some people got hurt. Yeah. So that's not necessarily great.
But the thing is, they also protected their own that were helping them.
They did.
They did do that. And here's the other thing I look at it, and I kind of like how you went back to that. Because we have them doing the illegal way to get money, and then you have Sam trying to do the legal way to get a loan,
right?
And how the government's basically screwing him over.
Sure.
And so they just take it to the next step. Well, guess what? And I know in America we have the FDIC, which helps protect banks, like, your accounts and stuff. Yeah. I'm sure other countries have something like that or something similar. So, I mean, they could be like, oh, yeah, we're robbing it, but it's insured anyway, so you're good. Bye. And,
yeah, I mean...
is it a win-win?
Yeah, we don't know exactly, and yeah, I mean...
in other countries. So.
Yeah, and definitely, I mean, like, we got the very pointed line in the first episode from Sam's sister after they get denied, and she's like, I knew they weren't going to help us because it's not their job to help us. Mm-hmm. Like, that's, she clearly has that perspective that, we are the only people that can help ourselves.
Yes.
And these are the same type of mentality that these flag smashers have, is like, we have to help people because... the governments of the world are not going to do it. They came back and they're trying to put the world back to normal. And there's a better way that we saw through the last 5 years when humanity was united. When, I think that their logo, which I hadn't seen clearly until this episode, is like a picture of the globe with the hand on it. Like, and like, so the palm is like the globe. And I hadn't seen that, in the first episode. It wasn't really clear. We just kind of saw a hand.
Hard. Yeah.
And so that was really cool, like a really cool inclusion to be like, their mission is, one world united, that we're all, it's kind of like everybody's on the same page. We're all working together. Like, that's what they want to do. And so to do that, they have to tear down the governments and the systems that are keeping, people separate. Yeah. And so, again...
And then, like...
It's very complex, it's very political, and it's very pointed to the moment we're in the real world. It is. It's really cool.
And I like that, we have this group, we have them set up this way, and it's almost opposite sides of the same coin, because then we got Sam, we got Bucky, and I'm going to say Cap and Battlestar.
Absolutely.
They're all like, oh no, we need to keep the governments going, we need everything going, and everything can be done the legal and right way. They're the opposite side of what they're doing.
It's really interesting, because I think New Captain America is very clearly in opposition to what they're doing and their mission. Like, and we have Sam, who I think makes a couple of comments that lead you to believe, like, I think he's open-minded to their perspective. Like, even in the first episode, he talked about, I think with Torres, where he said, like, anything that's bad for one group is good for another, like that kind of thing. Like,
he's trying to stay in the middle, I'll give you that.
And so I think that he's trying to stop them because I think he views what they're doing as violent and wrong. But I think that as he comes to understand more of what their mission is, I think he's, like, even, again, in the first episode, was kind of like, like when Torres is saying, like, they want a world without borders, and he's like, he didn't really say, like, that's a terrible thing.
He rides the line better. I'll say that. I'll say he'll ride that line. But again, in the end of the day, he is still a good guy.
Yep.
They are still doing bad things, so they still need to go to jail. And I think that's where he will always come to it. Because he's still going to be like Steve. And Steve is still like, I agree with what you did. I'll put in a part, I'll put in something for you maybe to give you a lesser. I see Steve doing stuff like that. Like, you know what, you're still a good person. I'm going to see what we can do to help you. But Steve's still going to take you to jail.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that. You're doing the wrong thing for the right reasons.
Yes, the ends justify the means.
Right, and so it's definitely... We know that new Captain America, John Walker, and Battlestar are going to be very much in opposition to this Flag Smashers group. We don't really know with Falcon and Winter Soldier is that they're trying to catch them and stop them because of the super soldier stuff.
Yeah, they're worried about that.
But clearly, once they get more connected to what they're, I think the power broker is going to be who they go after.
Right.
Like they're not they're going to try and stop the Flag Smashers, but ultimately their goal is, okay, how did they get this super soldier serum?
They're going
and that's why we go see Isaiah Bradley. That's why we're going to Zemo, because we know that in the mission where he killed Tony Stark's parents, that was super soldier serum that then ended up in the hands of Hydra, where they gave it to these other assassins, and then Zemo killed them all. So if anyone's going to know about secret stashes of super soldier serum, it's probably Zemo, because he hated those guys. I mean,
he really did.
He killed all of them, because like that to him, he doesn't want more Avengers. He doesn't want superpowered people.
No, he wants to get rid of them.
So yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting. Obviously, it'll be a really unique reunion.
Oh, it will be.
The first time that Bucky has really come face to face with him since being brainwashed by him.
That's true.
I forgot about that. That's not going to be super awesome.
That would be interesting. So here's my other thing too. So in the movies, we've seen Cap use a gun in World War II.
Yep, but since then, nothing.
Yeah. How do you feel about this Cap using a gun? Because he was obviously pulled it right out and shot the guy.
Yeah, obviously, that is very on point for this Captain America. Like, it makes perfect sense that he would. But yeah, I mean, that's another, like, when we talk about what's the difference between, Captain America and this guy, Cap is a protector. Cap, his primary tool is the shield. Right. That's what he uses. In the Avengers movies, he uses his shield to, knock people out or do that. Like, he's not using weapons. Right. Other than, he's protecting, and then he's using the shield as obviously an offensive weapon also. But yeah, he doesn't use guns. When he faces off against the Winter Soldier in the Winter Soldier, he's using a shield, and Winter Soldier's using guns and knives and all that stuff, and Cap's just using a shield. Like, that's what he does. So, yeah, it's a very specific choice to have the new Captain America have a gun and use it. And, it's just drawing another line in the difference between the two. Right.
And I thought that so, too, because I thought that was an interesting point. He pulled that gun pretty quick. And it wasn't like...
And again, Falcon uses guns all the time. Right. Like, it's not like we're, saying that the MCU is anti-guns. But Captain America has historically, since World War II, since he's been out of an actual war zone, he has not used guns.
Very rarely. And usually if he does, it's an alternate version. Like, I think Ultimate Captain America uses guns. He's okay with it.
Yeah, he's a little bit more militaristic than the Steve Rogers we get in the MCU.
Exactly. Yeah. 616, which is the universe that everyone knows, he doesn't really use guns. Even in World War II comics, I don't think he really touched them too often until they rewrote some of that stuff later. Then they put a gun on him in a holster. Right. But then, after that, you really don't see him use it too often that I can remember when I was reading Captain America. So I do like that.
It's not his go-to.
Yeah, I do like that. This Captain America is willing to... Obviously, he's willing to kill. He's willing to do whatever it takes to take the villains down, whether peacefully, murder, whatever you want to call it. So I kind of like that he is this way. I mean, again, like you said, we're getting very different Captain Americas. Yeah. And I think that this episode, not only the opening, the grenade comment, the gun, every little thing shows how they are completely different. Right. Steve, like you said, Steve, he is intelligent. I will never say he's stupid, but he is not. Yeah, he's still 1940s.
Well, and this super soldier serum did give him enhanced intelligence.
It did.
We see very briefly in that movie, we see his strategic bona fides, and we see that obviously in the Avengers movies where he's directing the battle plan and all that stuff. He is smart, but in a totally different way. Right. Than Bruce Banner or Tony Stark or any of those guys.
I like to say, the one thing I will say about him is he has, what's a little gnat? He has more common sense than anybody else on the team. I will say that because I go back to the first Captain America with the flagpole. They're all the guys, I'm going to climb up, and he's just like, pin, flag comes to me, take the flag, here you go. Come get my ride.
Take my ride in the Jeep with Miss Peggy Carter.
And to me, that's common sense. Like, what's holding the whole thing down is a dang peg.
Right.
Why am I trying to climb this thing?
Right, he's a problem solver.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now this guy, I don't see him that way. Like, even though you're intelligent, again, you're not Steve.
Well,
I
think we need to call out here a couple things. So first off, R.I.P. Red Wing. Because that super soldier just boom, like just done, and I think that
I do like. Hold on, we're gonna comment on that. Bucky.
I've always wanted to do that.
He doesn't even care that they're fighting anymore. He's just like,
no.
Always want to do that.
Oh man, like I wanted to be the one to do that.
Yes, I love Bucky's part right there.
But then we find out that's how they tracked Falcon and Winter Soldier. They were not tracking the Flag Smashers. Mm-hmm. They were tracking Falcon. Yeah. And like that's another thing where you're like, that's shady. Like that's like you're tracking one of your own, like to like do that again. That's the type of thing that OG Cap would not do.
That's something that Tony would do though in a heartbeat.
It is absolutely something that Tony would do because Tony's a villain.
He's not a villain. He's not.
But anyways, R.I.P. Red Wing. It immediately when it happened, it made me think of the Mandalorian when again spoiler for that when they blew up his ship because it was one of those things where I'm like I can't believe they just did that. Like like they spend so much time in the first episode like hyping up Red Wing and like talking about Red Wing and then just immediately they're like now we're gonna kill him.
You're gonna love Red Wing. Well, he's dead. You love him for a whole 30 seconds. Which is like
again taking away a tool that Sam is. We're going to slowly, I think, strip away Sam's, and find out, it's almost like the, Spider-Man thing. It's like, I'm taking away the extra stuff. And you have to prove that you're a hero with who you are. And I think that's going to be, again, part of the journey. We talked about this last week. Right. Part of the journey of Sam is feeling like he's earned the shield. Right. And I think that's going to be, again, as he loses some of those other things and he's forced to use his smarts and his all those other things to accomplish his goals, maybe he'll feel like he has earned the shield. And it'll be interesting to find out when he gets that, because we did see stuff in the trailer of them training with the shield, like Falcon and Winter Soldier training with the shield. So, is that going to be next episode, the episode after? Like, how long is this new Captain America going to have this shield? We don't really know.
See, in my whole thinking, and I'm kind of glad we got this episode too, I was always wondering if maybe Falcon really didn't give the real shield kind of thing. But the way he utilized the shield, I'm like, no, that's the real shield. Like, there's no way now that that's a fake shield.
Although they did show him training with the shield, and I didn't get the sense that a ton of time passed between the end of the previous episode, like where Sam is giving up the shield and when he's becoming Captain America. Like, it seemed like it was maybe a week at most.
Maybe.
And so, is that enough time? Like, Sam, you would assume, had the shield up until he gave it to the Smithsonian. Right. So, what shield was John Walker training with? Like, have they just made a replica of the shield that's also out of vibranium? We don't know. I
mean, there is no Stark to remake it. Because, Tony's dead. Yep. His dad's dead. They were the only two that could have made it.
I don't know that I would say they're the only two. We've got other intelligent people in this universe, and certainly,
you don't
what if we bring back the Tinkerer?
Son of a bitch.
I'm just saying, he was in the Spider-Man movie. Like, what if we just...
Unless Dr. Doom helped make it.
Oh my god.
And they requested Doom's help because he knew how to use the metal.
Can we end this now? Can we just stop talking about this episode now? And just...
What are you... Okay, so since you should wrap it up. So, what's your prediction for the next one? What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, I think, obviously, somehow or another, they're going to get Zemo out of prison. Okay.
Prison break.
I think it has to be, because it's not like they can be like, hey, release him to us, and we'll take care of him. Like, I don't think that they're going to be able to get away with that.
No.
I think that they won't come back in contact with new Captain America in the next episode. I think that'll be a couple episodes down the line. I think that either, Zemo's either going to put him on the trail of the Flag Smashers or of Power Broker. Like, he might just say, like, oh, you want to be after this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And, so I think that's partially what's going to happen. Okay. I don't know exactly where this story's going, which I really like.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking after I said it, maybe that scene of them practicing with the shield is like the end of the series. Like, maybe they don't get it back, and like he doesn't get the shield until episode 6. I don't think that's the case. I think at some point they are going to get it. He's going to have a fight with it. It's almost like, Cap with Mjolnir. Getting to fight with that at the end of Endgame. Like, I think we're going to get a final fight where Sam is using the shield.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. But, we'll see. So I don't know. What about you?
I kind of agree. I think we're going to get a Prison Break-ish kind of episode. Because I think you're right. I think that's the only way to get him out. Or they're going to get him in a room and he's going to get out. Like, he knew they were coming somehow. He's going to somehow get out of jail. That no matter what, he's not staying in jail by the end of this episode. By the end of episode 3, Zemo is going to be out.
I agree.
And he's going to get into power. He's going to go back to his country or whatever, and he's going to become Baron Zemo, which would be here in the comics. He's going to be the Baron. I don't think you're right, though. I think U.S. Agent or Captain America will come out next episode, and with them, with Falcon and Winter. But I think it's going to be at odd ends now. I think it's
the next time they meet up, they are not going to be on the same team.
No,
that's clear.
I think it's going to be they're going to realize they broke him out, and now we have to arrest these two. So he's going to come maybe at the very end of the episode to fight them, and somehow Flag Smasher gets away. Maybe they were there, or maybe the Power Broker's there, and they run off because it's like, dude, we got to go for him. No, you're under arrest now. Instead, now I get to arrest you two because you're doing wrong. And it's like, dude, we could have just gotten them there right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that's going to happen like that on the 3rd episode.
All right. Okay.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Interesting.
And I do think you're right. I think the shield, we may not get till episode 6. I think that's when we're going to see Sam and Winter Soldier utilizing it properly. I really do. But my thing is this. Are we going to keep U.S. Agent after this is all over, or is he going to die, you think, during these 6 episodes?
No, I don't think he's dying.
You think he's going to live?
No, yeah. I think he's too rich of a character, and certainly, it'll be really interesting because obviously, the show is called The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Right. And I think we're all expecting that by the end of this series, Falcon is going to be Captain America. Yeah. But what if that's not the case? Like, what if they throw a total swerve ball at us and he doesn't become Captain America? I mean, that's the thing that could happen, and maybe they address it later on, in something else. We don't really know, but I think that Marvel has earned the benefit of the doubt. Even though I didn't love WandaVision, I thought it was still good. Yeah, and I think that. I'm loving this series so far. I think the first 2 episodes have been really good. This one in particular, I think, was a step up even from last week. And I'm definitely really interested to see it continue to its conclusion. And, we're a third of the way through. So, we're at the end of the first act. We're introducing our villain by the end of the first act, being Baron Zemo. We also have a couple other people that are antagonists in the Flag Smashers, and now in John Walker's Captain America. We've established a lot of emotional stuff going on with Falcon, with race stuff, as well as with PTSD stuff for Winter Soldier. Yeah. So we've got a lot established. And I think, the middle act is usually where you see your heroes, really face their big challenges and fail. That's usually where they...
and that's true.
It's like that they have to fail before they can succeed. So these next couple episodes, things aren't necessarily going to go well for Falcon and Winter Soldier, is my inclination.
And that's why I think it's going to be... They're about to catch the bad guys, and then Captain America's going to mess it up by, like, no, we need to capture you now. Like, you're the villains, and... I think that's why it's going to blow into that. But we'll see. But I'm curious what everyone thinks down below, too. Let us know what your prediction is for episode 3, or where you think the series is going to go. And then, of course, like, comment, and subscribe. And come back here next week to let us, hear what we think about episode 3. I don't know if do you know the title for the next one?
I don't think they've been releasing them in advance. So,
okay. Not like WandaVision was?
I will say I really liked, and I don't know if you picked it up, the marching band at the beginning was playing a version of the Star Spangled Man with a Plan that is in the first Captain America movie where he's doing his propaganda.
Oh, really?
Like it's the chorus line. It's the da 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 da.
Yeah.
Da,
I didn't even catch that.
And they were playing that music, and I was like,
oh wow.
I was like, oh, I see what you did there. Like I like that. It was cool.
Not at all.
So yeah, and I think that was a really interesting way to again introduce Captain America, which is really the first time we see him in the suit.
Yeah.
In the first movie, you know, OG Captain America is propaganda stuff.
Exactly.
Like,
and that's what we're getting here.
And so yeah, I mean, like that's cool. And then you know, by the time he meets up with the two of them, you know, we get the sense he's been on a few missions. What those missions have been, we don't know exactly. But obviously, this is the first time he's coming up against super-powered individuals, and he gets his butt whooped.
He does. So,
which is, I think, again, going to lead him to Power Broker
wanting
that serum a little bit, a la Abomination, as you pointed out, and you talked about that character.
Yes.
Which again, you know, rumor is he's coming back for the She-Hulk series, which.
Maybe
I'm excited about that because Tim Roth was a great villain.
Oh, I love Tim Roth as Abomination. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait.
So
yes, let us know what y'all think down below. Like, comment, subscribe. For